Hey everybody, Jeff here.
Megan.
We are back again.
Woot woot.
Teratozoic! That's what we're looking at right now. This was on Kickstarter right now as well. A light deck building game for 2 to 6 players about creating monsters and messing with the gene pool. Let's see, what do they say on the box for this one as far as a play time? 30 to 90 minutes?
Correct.
Yeah, somewhere right in the middle. And again, we played with 2 players, but I think more players would kind of speed this one up. Because it was, getting through the deck, and then however many errors you're gonna. Although with more players, you add in more errors. So
yeah.
But the cards kind of go fast. So what are we talking about? Well, just real quick here, you get some nice little reference cards to use. Shows you how turn order goes and scoring, all that good stuff. And then you've got the eras, which is kind of a cool thing. I'll state up front that this is an interesting take on deck building that I really kind of enjoyed. It was a slightly fresh, and again, it calls itself a light deck building, and it really is. All right, so on these era cards, it tells you what you're going to be able to draw, and it's always 5 cards, but it's split up between the random mutations, so basically a draw pile in the middle that everybody uses. So in this instance, for this era, it's 2 cards from the random mutation, and then 3 from your personal deck, which is your gene pool, which everybody starts with a gene pool of cards, and then as the game goes on, you start adding more to it from winning basically monster battles or creating the monster worth the most points. And then you are basically, when you've got your cards, you're going to say, everybody's going to say whether or not they're going to play some or all of their cards. And it's I'm playing some or I'm playing all of my cards. What this tells your opponents, though, is how many cards, in a minimum of how many cards you're going to play. So if I say I'm playing some, Megan knows I'm at least playing 2 cards in this era, because I have to play at least 2 cards. And less than all, because I can't play all of my cards because I said I'm only playing some. So, 2 to 4. And then down here, each era is different this way too. It tells you what you win, so what you get to gain if you're the winner of the battle, and then what you get, what everybody else gets. So in this instance, the winner gains 2 cards from play, which is anywhere in play, including still in front of them. But they get 2 cards in place, and they get to choose. And then they get 3 cards from hand, which is in front of them. And then everybody else, after the winner's chosen what they're going to grab, gets 3 from their hand. So 3 from cards that they've played. And all of these eras are different. You're going to play through until you've played the last era that you're playing in. Again, this changes a bit by number of players and whether or not you want to play a shorter game, longer game. So that's kind of a cool thing too. And if you get to that point, you can kind of mix and match. So the game can change a little bit every time you play if you wanted to. So that's those. And then the meat of what we're looking at are the creature cards, the gene pool cards here, if you will, the genetics and mutations and all that good stuff. So what you got is a color, and then you have this is an end piece, so you can't play anything up above here, but it also branches off into 3 connection points. So these are open connections that you can continue to build this monster with. And then a point value, which is 6 in this particular case of this one. So there's a bunch like that. So here's a strictly end piece that you'd attach somewhere. It's worth 3 points. You got your eyeballs there. And then we've got things like advanced cards, which, I'll show you too. There's different colors and body parts and all that good stuff for the various monsters, which is one of the fun things of doing this. And then you got things like advanced cards, which you can take out if you're playing with younger kids, or you can put in if you want a little more strategy type stuff with your. And they're all marked, so that, they've all got words on them too, but they all have an A on them if you want to take them out. But they do different things. So, like for instance, this one is a 15-point body part, which has 3 connection spots, but it says if you dominate this generation with no loose ends, meaning you made a complete monster, you may treat all cards as from hand. So that means like if you win where it says from hand, where you'd only pick in front of you, you can basically have the whole table that you can pick from. So that's kind of cool. And there's a bunch of different things like that. Some of them will double, like this guy here, he's only worth 1 point, but if this monster's parts are all green, double the monster's value. So that's kind of cool. So that's a way to get some extra points as well. So lots of different things there. So you're going to play through the different eras, and what you do on a turn is it's called the expression, and that's where you kind of go, I'm playing some or all of my cards. And then there's the growth, where everybody's basically simultaneously, after you've kind of said some or all, you build your monster so with however many cards that you said you would play. Now, while you're building your monster during a normal turn, that's where you're worried about the point value. And then you have breeding, which I think growth going into breeding is kind of where you compare who's got the most points and then who won the era and then what they get. And so that's one thing to kind of keep in mind as you're playing this too. You're grabbing all these cards. Whatever you play out is you're going to lose a good portion of it. It's not going to go back into your deck. That's what's a little bit different about this as far as the deck building aspect as well. You're maybe if you win, you get to cherry pick some cards from your other players and put those in your discard pile, and then you might get to put some of your cards back into your discard pile, but everything else goes into the generic discard pile in the middle that you don't get back. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, it's a somewhat quick call, but it's not necessarily a culling that you're controlling as much. I mean, you're going to lose more cards than you probably would like to at certain points, especially if you don't win the battle. And then there's the mutation, which is discarding all the cards that you didn't use, all that good stuff, and then basically drawing up for the next round. And then you go until the deck empties, and once the deck empties, then you'll flip and you'll go to the next era until you get to the last era and play that out. For the very last era that you play, that is one thing I remember. Once the last era comes up and is ready to be played, your discard pile automatically gets reshuffled into your deck, where prior to that, it's like any other deck builder you're used to. Once you have to draw, can't draw, then you shuffle. Last era, though, you get all your cards back together, shuffle them up, and get a hand out of that. And then you play out that last era. And then this is where things kind of flip a little bit. And something that you have to keep in mind while you're grabbing parts throughout the game. Not only do you want to win these battles and keep as many things as you can. End of the game, how do you score? You can make you make as many monsters as you want, but you pick the three that you can completely close off. So no open connections at all of a single color. So you might have a blue monster, a green monster, and a purple monster. As long as you can mix and match it so that they are a single color and have no open connections. So any other cards that you have that are kind of open connections or can't be used in the monster just kind of get pushed off to the side. And then it's card total. So whoever uses the most cards to complete up to 3 monsters, singly colored monsters, that's who wins. So what'd you think of this one?
Well, it's probably well known. I'm not a huge fan of deck building games. I thought
that is so not true. I don't know why you keep saying that.
Because they're not my favorite games to play.
I love Dominion.
Dominion's the rarity. It's the exclusion.
It's
the exception.
It's the game that started deck builders.
Yeah, but overall though, I think it's a good introduction to deck building games for those of us who are more casual or younger in age.
Wait a minute.
I meant like younger
What are you saying?
kids. Yes, I'm a big kid. But I have to say the artwork, I loved the artwork. It reminded me of like Jem Henson's creations. The monsters, they're very sort of fun, plain colors and easygoing. But I think, again,
Hence our colorful shirts tonight.
My favorite part of the game was building monsters. So I am a big kid. So
there were times when we were, I'm like plotting out what I should do, and all of a sudden
my
I hear
destruction.
and I look over and she's got a big smile on her face, and I'm like, "You're really enjoying yourself right now, aren't you?" It's like, "Oh, I can't wait to build this monster." So that was an enjoyable factor for Megan for sure. She had a lot of fun building her silly monsters.
It's true.
And again,
that's probably why I lost.
And again, one of the nice things about this game is the advanced cards with all the wording and all that stuff on it, you can get rid of. They're all marked. You can make this a more, younger kid-friendly game by just making the monsters. And again, trick education. What does your monster add up to? And if you even don't want to do that, you can even go simpler and just say whoever has the most cards in their monster or something like that. But that is an aspect. Again, it's bright, it's colorful, it's the Jim Henson-y style monsters that you're making that is going to appeal to kids as well.
Or me.
Or Megan. I do like the twist on the deck building in this. I thought that was kind of interesting. The first couple times seeing it in action was like, ooh, okay, I'm losing 50% of my cards right there. And that's where you kind of get into where you might not play all of your cards, which is something that Megan and I had several conversations about during a couple games. Why don't I play everything? But there are reasons why you wouldn't. You want to keep some stuff back because you might not want your opponent grabbing it, and if you know you're not going to win, you might keep back some more powerful cards so that it doesn't go in their discard pile and stuff like that. I liked this a lot. I thought this was pretty cool. I enjoyed my time with this one, and it is a simplified light deck builder that appeals to kids, and that's cool. I thought it was great, and we did play with the advanced cards, so that brought a bit of depth to it at times. That do I play this, and can I accomplish whatever the card? Some of the cards I'll tell you, like that one, it's got to be all green, or that 15.1. It's like you can't have any openings. You have to have a complete monster, that kind of thing. So you got to kind of weigh playing those sometimes too, if they're going to really help you or not. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Solid game. Like I said, it's on Kickstarter right now. Anything else you want to add? No?
I think so.
All right. Definitely go check it out. Teratozoic. Modern Evil Games, I believe, is what they're going by. So check it out, and we will see you again soon.